SeatGeek. For all your ticketed events, from sporting to concert outings, SeatGeek has you covered. They even conveniently color-coded each ticket on their website from amazing to worst, so you can easily know which are the best deals. SeatGeek, the smart way to buy. Save $20 off your next ticket purchase with the promo code. Hey, everybody, I'm your host, Grande Gato, also known as the Big Cat. My cool cats, put your paws up if you rock with the Big Cat today. We're going to talk about my man Joe Brady. He just touched down. He touched down in Charlotte, and we're going to talk about his playbook, what it is that he brings to the Carolina Panthers. But first, one quick question before we get started. Do you love the Carolina Panthers like I love the Carolina Panthers? Yes? No? Maybe. Do you love the Carolina Panthers like I love the Carolina Panthers? Simple enough. If you love them like I love them, go ahead and give it that. Listen, we're here going to talk about my man Joe Brady and this offensive playbook. Man, I just watched the Alabama game, and it was amazing. We'll talk about it. Let's get into it.
That boy is good.
Before we get started, make sure you subscribe, click the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Now, what I seen on tape against LSU and Alabama, Joe Brady's offense is electrifying. He runs a spread shotgun formation offense. And listen, Joe Burrow is the truth. Joe Burrow is the truth. I watched tape on him, and man, he was making audibles. Wow. But it's all because of the scheme and the system that he is. Now, one thing that I like about my man Joe Brady is he used a lot of pick and rub routes. Now, a couple of them rub routes and pick routes are questionable. Should have got a flag on them. As long as you're running a route behind it. I mean, if you're running a rub route and you're actually trying to get open, they usually leave you alone. Now, if you're just using a rub route or a pick route, and you're just strictly just trying to just stop the other cornerback, you're not even trying to get open, that's when they usually call it. So, again, he does that a lot, and also he does this thing with these 4 or 5 set receivers. They usually have the inside receivers do a thing called a whip route. A whip route is when you run up the field and you come back like you finna curl, but instead of you curling, you flare out. So it's like a whip. You run up, come back like a comeback route, and then you flare out to the outside. So he uses that to draw your linebackers in. Yeah, smooth criminal. He'll use that to draw you guys in, and then he'll have another receiver come right behind that as your linebackers draw up and take the bait. Another receiver will come right behind it, find a soft spot in that zone, and you'll pay for it. My man is a legit offensive coordinator. I don't know how this man is so young and so great, man. I got to give it to him. And last but not least, before we start looking at some tape, I got a bit of caution for all the wide receivers, tight ends on the Carolina Panthers roster. In this man's system, even if you're not getting the ball, please, I beg you, run your route hard. Okay, if you run your route hard, it sells the play. Because a lot of times the players that are not getting the ball, if they're loafing, then they're gonna throw off the whole play. Okay, so if you run your route hard, for example, if the running back is getting the ball out in the flat, if you got a wide receiver and a tight end loafing through the play, it's not going to draw the linebackers up. It's not going to run. You got to be able to run them up or run them off or draw them up. Whatever the scheme is set up for you to do, if you don't run your route hard, it's going to allow for linebackers to come off of the original route and stop the play. So please, my man is a genius, man, and he uses the belief for his tight ends and the belief in his wide receivers that whatever he's calling is going to work. So I want to go ahead and show you what I found out against Alabama.
Stick around.
So on this first play, I want to show you how Joe Brady uses space against you. Again, he uses a shotgun spread offense. And again, when you spread out across the field, you don't have a lot of help. I mean, sometimes you're going to see one high safety. You might have an occasion where you have 2 safeties back there, but you have to win one-on-one. If you don't win one-on-one, you're going to give us some big plays, and that's what you're going to see on the screen right here. If you look up on your screen right here, they're in a 5-wide set. They like to come out in 3-wide sets, 4-wide sets, and even 5-wide sets. At the very top of your screen, you'll see the cornerback playing off, giving that nice little cushion. Now, my man is going to run a wheel route. Now, if you look at the top of your screen again, the outside receiver comes in. He's going to do a little rub or a little pick right here to allow the other receiver to come across. Now, the cornerback sees him go down. He has to go down. He has to honor that because they're playing man on the outside. Now, the inside receiver releases to the outside. Nice little rub route, and guess what happens? Now you got a nice little release to the outside of the sideline, and boom, you have to make that play on target again. Scheme, yeah. Again, you're one-on-one. There's no safety over the top, and by the time the safety does get there, the ball is already in your man's hand, your receiver's hand. Again, rub route, pick route, using what you got. using your receivers to come down and make it tough on these cornerbacks, making these guys think quick. And again, you got to be accurate. That's an accurate throw. If you look up here, this is an accurate throw. There's not a lot of room for error. Either you throw it and he catches it, or you throw that ball out of bounds. By the time the safety gets over there, there's no help. Using pick and rub routes is a big part of Joe Brady's offense.
Jesus Christ.
So moving on, you're going to see the creativity of my man Joe Brady. If you look up on your screen right here, this is what I was saying, that you got to run your route to the fullest, okay? At the bottom of your screen, you'll see your tight end lined up, and then the 3 wide receivers set. The wide receiver comes in motion, the tight end takes the middle linebacker out the field, and guess what? The running back, he takes the outside linebacker up the field as well. Now the receiver that was in motion, both of the linebackers are going upfield. All right, good scheme. Now the outside receiver is lined up with the outside linebacker. This is a smart guy. That outside linebacker came off that route. The route was designed for the outside linebacker and the middle linebacker to be taking up the field, but this outside linebacker only bit so much. He came back, but look, if you see on your screen, he still has a 5-6 yard gap. Even though he came back and recognized it in time, he still had to cover 5 to 6 yards, and that's when you used to rely on your guys to be playmakers. Again, scheme, using your tight end to run off a guy, using your running back to run off the outside linebacker, using your tight end to run off the middle linebacker, and guess what? If that outside linebacker didn't turn back around, it probably would have went for a bigger play. But even with that, it still was a great play. Scheme. This is why it's important. If you're not getting the ball, run hard to run off guys to create space. Using space with guys that are not going to get the ball. Running your routes, man. I'm telling you, I like this, man. I really do.
Message.
So next up, you're going to see them run a 5 wide receiver set. They're going to use the inside wide receivers to draw the linebackers up, and they're going to have another receiver run behind that and find the soft coverage in the zone. If you look up on your screen right here, you see they're in the 5 wide. Look at the 2 inside receivers, okay? They're going to run what I call, again, the whip route. They're going to run up. They're going to act like they're going to come back and run a curl. And at the last minute, you're going to see them guys flare out to both sides, to the outside. All right, you got the one on the outside to the left and the one on the outside to the right. And if you look at the top of your screen, look at the receiver. That running back, that receiver end up finding a soft cushion because that linebacker is drawn up by that curl route, or that whip route. Now he has a soft hole in the coverage. Again, scheming. He schemes to draw up linebackers' eyes, and now you put a lot of pressure on your safety to get there, and he gets there late. Again, if your safety doesn't recognize what's going on till late, it's too late. It's too late by the time he recognizes, okay? Again, playing with your linebackers' eyes, making it difficult on them. Not only did he do it to one side of the field, he did it to both sides of the field. In case the other DB decided to drop back and help the safety out. There was no chance. There was no chance. Unless he was able to jump the route and recognize it earlier. But again, great play calling. Using that 5 receiver set to intimidate folks and to draw your linebackers up to create space.
You're going to learn today.
So what I'm about to show you is probably one of my favorite plays out of this whole clip. Listen, they're down in the red zone. 13 seconds left in the second half. You got to get a score. If you look up on your screen right here, they're going to put the running back out there in the receiver position. They're going to motion him back to the backfield. Now, that's the linebacker on him. Now, that motion is going to use against him. Joe Burrow, I think they really wanted to try to attack the middle here, but Joe Burrow's going to go ahead and audible. He sees something. Okay, again, this guy is a legend. If you see what happens right here, what they're going to do with this tight end, they're going to run him out, okay, again, to create space. The wide receiver, they're going to run him up to create space. You're creating space for not the receiver, not the tight end, but the running back. And now he has a 6-7 yard distance between him and that slow-ass linebacker. And again, boom, by the time he recognizes it, listen, I can't make this up. Listen, using space. My man is a gymnast. I mean, the way he uses space against you. He uses space and he uses dirty eyes against you. And again, if you're a tight end, if you're a wide receiver and you're not getting the ball, run hard. Okay, my man Chad Moss and that other receiver, them running their routes hard and effective, allow for that running back to get open. Okay, and now it was just up to Joe Burrow to make a clean throw, and he did there. He used it against you, man. Space and dirty eyes.
You like that? You like that?
So going to the next play, you're going to see more of the same. Remember I told you, he is the master of the rub routes. He's the master of creating space. He's the master of doing it out of all kind of formations. It doesn't matter. the principle, the scheme is still the same no matter what he lines up in. If you look up on your screen right here, you got 3 wide receivers to your right. You got 1 receiver at the bottom of your screen. They're in the gun formation with a running back. If you look at the top of your screen up here, listen, look at that linebacker. Look at that DB hugged up on her. And guess what? The receiver's going to take him for inside release. And guess what? The outside receiver is going to go ahead and come across. Now listen, that rub route created that space. Again, I mean, some people say, it's cheating because, you're knocking the DB off. But like I said, as long as you're trying to make an honest effort to get open, they normally don't call it. Again, he does it well to where he doesn't get called. I haven't seen LSU get flagged a lot for pick or a rub route. So again, he's highly effective at running this, and he takes advantage of you. Whether you're playing off or whether you're playing on, it's like he knows the perfect time when to call it. And again, he just exploits you with space. He exploits you when you're up on him. My man is a genius, man. So next up, you're going to see again where I was referencing, you got to run your routes hard, and it's going to see where it's going to pay off on 3rd and 3. If you look up at your screen right here, they got 3 receivers at the top of the screen, 5 receivers total. You got 2 at the bottom, and Joe Burrow's going to call an audible. Okay, my man's barking out signals. Now what you're going to see here is, again, the guys that are not getting the ball, they're going to run their route pretty hard. Now, if you look at the top of your screen, the wide receiver releases to the outside, takes 2 DBs with him, all right? Not only does it take 2 DBs, the inside wide receiver releases to the inside, and he takes a DB with him. So now that 3rd guy in that bunch set they had wide open. Yeah! Look at this. I'll use my receivers that are not getting the ball. Let those guys run hard. Draw you in. Take 2 DBs with the outside release. Take the inside release, take 1 DB, and the last guy in that bunch stack comes out and catches it. Again, man, I mean, what can I say? He's a manipulator, man. I mean, he'll burn you, man. I'm so excited for this guy, man. I mean, again, using what you got in space, and you got to run hard even if you're not getting the ball. You got to sell it. His scheme is there. You just got to sell it. You got to have the right personnel to sell it.
Winning.
Last but not least, you're going to see more of the same, okay? His scheme is simple. Rub routes, comeback routes, using inside wide receivers to draw linebackers up, having your backside receivers find soft spots in your zone. Simple scheme, but it's all about executing. If you look up on your screen right here, 5 wide receivers set, and again, you're going to see where, don't this look kind of familiar? This look familiar. Look at the 2 wide receivers in the inside. Yeah, that's a whip route. They're going to come back, and they're going to act like they're going to curl, and then they're going to flare out. And then the receiver that's running down the field behind all that finds a soft spot because the guys are drawn up again. Why am I repeating myself? Because he likes to do this a lot. I love it. Hey, man, my man is legit. I'm telling you, get excited, Charlotte. Get excited, Carolina. Listen, I mean, he uses his space. He uses like I said, he uses space. He uses rub routes. He also uses the receivers and tight ends and running backs that are not getting the ball to create space. Please, man, make sure you get this guy the right personnel. Curtis Samuel might go for 11. DJ might go for 12. I think we need 1 more receiver, maybe 1 or 2 more receivers. But his scheme is there, y'all. He was worth every bit of the undisclosed amount that Tep slid in his bank account. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your host, El Grande Gato, also known as the Big Cat. My cool cats, put your paws up. Rock with the Big Cat. Tell me what you think about my man Joe Brady now. I just showed you why he's so electric, so dynamic, and his scheme is a timely scheme, and it's made for receivers that can run hard routes, guys that can get open quick. And listen, I mean, the only thing that's going to make this thing a perfect fit, we're going to need an accurate quarterback. Listen, some of the throws that Burrow was making out of this, you got to be, listen, if that ball comes out a split second too late on some of them throws, it's either incomplete, interception, or something like a turnover on downs. You know what I mean? So again, we got to figure that out. If we can get that last piece of the puzzle figured out, who's going to be throwing the ball, I think we'll be just fine, all right? But you got to be accurate, and that's the reason why I'm saying a lot of y'all saying Burrows ain't worth it. Burrow's worth it, okay? Because Burrow made some crazy-ass throws in there. And again, that scheme is crazy. That scheme is crazy. There's a million ways to get open in that scheme. So as you just saw. So I can't wait to see what the finished product looks like. And I want you guys to be patient, Carolina. It may not come together year one. It may come together not year two. But be patient. Trust the process. But we got our guy, man. I promise you we got our guy. And Carolina's going to be an electric offense coming soon. So stay tuned. Make sure you get your ticket. I'm your host, man. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Keep Pounding TV, Twitter, Facebook, Keep Pounding _TV, and wherever else I am. Podcast, Google, Anchor FM, and the whole nine. Let's get up out of here. Let the church say that.